Okay. Okay, I think it's recording. All right, you guys, we are in week 2 of our, what do we call this? Start Strong training camp. And we have some fun things to share with you guys today. Hopefully you all got a chance to listen to the link that we sent. It was about a 25-minute training on how to get customers. Deanna Rose did that. And I wanted to just get some feedback if anyone here that's live has listened to that call. Just wanted to go over some of the highlights because there was some really great information. And while you guys think about what you might want to share, I'll go ahead and share a couple of my points. And Jen, if you want to jump in if you want to. Or do you want to start, Jen? Do you want to jump in with a couple of points? Or you want me to start? I didn't want to take yours. Me start?
Go ahead. You start. Okay. I got a lot of people coming out right now, so
okay,
go ahead.
All right. So a couple of key things that I think are important to remember is, so what Deanna Rose talked about is what we do is we get customers, we keep customers, meaning good follow-up, and then we teach others to get customers. That's what we do, you guys, in a nutshell. And another key thing she mentioned was that relationships aren't something in this business. Relationships are everything, meaning that that's how we get customers, keep customers, and teach others. It's relationships. Hi, Carrie.
Hi. Sorry I'm late. I lost track of time.
No worries. We're just sharing some takeaways from the training that we all listened to. So if you have a takeaway, I'm going to mute you, and you can mute yourself until you, if you want to unmute yourself and share a couple of takeaways, you certainly can do that.
Okay.
And let's see. We also talked about in that training how to categorize your memory joggers. And I hopefully everyone here has a memory jogger. Whether you're in day 1 of the business or day 2001 or 2,000,001, you all need a memory jogger, a list, right? And that's who we're going to talk to. That's the prospects that are in our pipeline that we want to talk to. And she reiterated the 3 ways to categorize those. We talked a little bit about your DMO and categorizing your memory jogger last time. And the 3 ways we talked about is, if they're hot, if they're our warm markets, so to speak, are people that we love and care about or that we feel comfortable talking to, those are our green market. And she said that'd be anyone that you would sing maybe a happy birthday video to them and send them to them, no matter however you looked. The yellow market is maybe like your Facebook friends that you might comment on occasionally, but it's not somebody that you would really talk to on a regular basis or maybe pick up the phone. And I guess for millennials, Taylor, I'm not sure how that all relates to you all because you guys probably never pick up the phone, but those are what we call our yellow market. And then the people that we just casually know, maybe, somebody at the grocery store, you're a person that you identify by face that checks you out the grocery store all the time. Maybe you're in a Facebook group with them. Those are our red contacts. So if you haven't done it, I would love for you, when you go through your memory jogger, to make sure that you go take a highlighter or just make a little dot or something and mark them green, yellow, and red. And based on how you categorize them is how we're going to approach them. And we're going to today be talking about how to get customers using different approaches. And so what Deanna Rose talked about is the 2 ways. She talked about networking versus caring and sharing. Again, if anybody wants to jump in here, if you have something to share as far as your takeaways before I move on to that. Anybody else want to talk a little bit? Any takeaways they want to share? If you think of something, please interrupt me, okay? So the 2 ways, networking is more of an indirect approach, and it's more of a cool market type approach. So maybe you might share what you do with someone, and then you say, do you know anybody that might be interested in, and you can talk about the product or the business. It's kind of it's a very, like I said, it's a very indirect approach. You might have a grand opening and just invite a bunch of your acquaintances and friends. That's more of an indirect. Again, we have a proper way to invite, and we're going to be talking about that next time. But that's more of an indirect approach, where sharing and caring is more of a direct approach. That's I thought of you because, and that's really how we spend a lot of our time inviting to people, for events to people. So we never just throw out invites. That's what the other people in network marketing do. We use the approach, I thought of you because. I might say, for instance, to Taylor, Taylor, I'm having a kombucha party at my house. I thought of you because you're such a foodie, and I know that you love to learn all this cool stuff. Would you like to join us? Because I know Taylor likes food. Or I might say I'm having a hiking party and I might invite Kay by saying, Kay, I know that you're really into health and fitness and you like to hike and walk. We're all getting together next Saturday and hike. Would you like to join us? So that's I thought of you because, and that's really where we like to spend our time in this marketing in Juice Plus. Again, the more cool marketing approach works, and she gave us lots of examples of that. So if you haven't listened to that training, please do. The other thing that I thought was really cool and a great takeaway is don't ever forget that even during the sharing and caring approach, you can chat somebody up, but this direct approach of I thought of you because can come afterwards. So you could just enjoy the conversation. And then when you get home that night, you get out your cell phone and you get out your text and you text that person and you simply say something like, I really enjoyed our conversation. I was thinking about what you talked about. I thought of you because, yada, yada, yada. So come back afterwards. You don't have to always talk Juice Plus the minute you meet someone or when you're in a conversation. So don't forget that. That's really comfortable for me because a lot of times I just want to have a natural conversation. I don't necessarily want to be talking about Juice Plus at that point, and so I'll oftentimes bring it up afterwards. Comments on that, Jennifer, before I go? I'm going to have Jennifer talk a little bit about the Teamzy, what we call relationship marketing and transition conversations. We're going to talk about that in just a minute, but before we go to that, so Jen, do you want to add anything in this part before I move on to, I'm going to go to high yielding questions.
I'm going to kind of cover a little bit of what you just talked about along with some other things. So I'll just wait until my part.
Okay, yeah, because
go over those.
She's got some really cool stuff to cover during the Teamzy piece. And then the other big piece that Deanne Rose talked about was the high yielding questions. And one of the things that I wanted to especially reiterate today is connecting the dots. And so many times we get so excited about Juice Plus when we first learn about it, we just want to throw up all over everybody. We want to just boom, get right to the point. And Deanne talked about the fact that we need to be able to connect the dots for people. And that might not all be in one conversation or one text. It might be multiples. But ultimately, you want to be able to make sure that you've connected these dots. You want to make sure that you've helped the prospect. First of all, you want to make sure they know that the foundation of good health comes from nutrition. The foundation of good nutrition comes from fruits and vegetables. It's almost impossible to get enough fruits and vegetables every day to make a significant impact in our health. Most people can't, don't, or won't get enough, and that's a problem, right? And wouldn't it be great if there was, wouldn't there be great if there's an easy way to do this? You might flip that out for fun, and then do the if I could show you a way where you could get 30 whole foods every day in your diet without even, opening the fridge, would you be open to listening to more? Or if I could show you, or would you be open to learning more about what my family does? I mean, there's lots of ways you can transition that. But again, you want to make sure that you have connected all those dots so that you're creating a case. And you've done that after you've asked a ton of questions. The other thing I want you to make sure that you took away from Deanne's training is we want to listen. We want to ask tons of questions so that when we get to the point where we're having a conversation, we can pair it back to them. Well, you told me this and you said this and I heard you say this and I know that this is important to you or whatever. You want to make sure that you know enough about that person so that you are solving a problem. You're not just selling them a product. Okay? Questions on that? And again, all of those notes are in her training that she did on how to get customers. Jen and I have talked a lot about Teamzy, and in the conversations that we had over the last couple of weeks, I think really where Teamzy comes into play, you guys, is as you start connecting with your cold market. There's techniques for warm market as well, but really there was an aha for Jennifer and I when we were chatting about it. And she really mentioned that, and what Deanne Rose mentioned too, is that until you get to VF, till you do your 2000 plus, pretty much all of that is your warm market. It's people that know and love and care for you and that are probably most likely going to say yes to give it a go. But when we get to the cold market, that's where many of us start to freeze. And that's where we get stalled out, is at that VF level, because we go, oh my gosh, how do we talk to these people? And that is really where Teamzy comes into play. Although I think it's nice for you to start Teamzy right up front, because you can get all these people entered in and get, keep it all in play, if you will. Make sure that you don't have to go back and redo adding all these people and talking about that they're a customer and what products they're on, whatever, because that's part of what you do at Teamzy. But I guess what I'm trying to say here is by the time you get to your VF, that's really about the time I think that you'd really want to take a look at Teamzy. So I'm going to turn it over to Jen to talk and train a little bit on Teamzy and the scripts and so forth. And I'm also, when you want me to, Jen, I'm going to go ahead and bring up Teamzy. So let me know when you want me to do that.
Awesome. Perfect. Thank you, guys. Sorry that I'm moving around. Like I said earlier, I'm at a birthday party, and that's the beauty of this business, is that I can do this just anywhere. So I'm outside of Skate City right now, and so it might get a little bit noisy. There's kids coming out, birthday parties getting over. Teamzy has been awesome for me, and I recently did the Teamzy boot camp, which is what Kay's doing. So Kay, you're going to be learning all this amazing stuff that I'm just going to briefly touch on today. One of the things in week 2 of Teamzy, they taught us how to move a great conversation to an invite. And I felt that this was really, really great for me, because I struggled with not my like warm market, but my cold market. So my yellows and my reds. Like, how do I start a conversation with these people that I don't really talk to on a daily basis? How do I, talk a little bit more with them and try to find out what's going on, see how I can help them? And one of the tools that they taught us was FORM, F-O-R-M. So if you have notes, write this down. F is for family. So have a conversation with them and ask them how their family is. Or, hey, how's your sister doing? How's your mom doing? I saw that she wasn't doing so good on Facebook, or I saw that you just had a baby. How's the baby doing? So ask questions about the family. O is for occupation. Ask them how their new job is going. Hey, are you still working for the dental hygienist? How's that going? Do you still love what you're doing? Ask them questions about them. R is for recreation. If you're Facebook friends, you can jump on their Facebook page and kind of scroll around and see what they've been doing lately for fun. You see them riding horses, like, hey, do you own horses? How many horses do you have? Just ask them questions about what they like to do for fun, or a recent trip that they went on. M is for motivation. So what other things in their life motivate them? Like, do they like to hike, or what gets them up out of bed in the morning? So those are just, that's FORM, F-O-R-M, and that's a great way to start a conversation. So once you're having this conversation, you're asking these questions about their family, you want to transition the conversation when they start asking about you. Sorry. Say hi. That's the birthday girl, by the way. So when you're asking them questions about them, they're gonna naturally, mostly, ask questions about you and about your family, about what you're doing and stuff. And when you answer them, answer including stuff about your business or about your health or about things that things are going great with us. We made it through the flu season without any flus, or I love that I have all this freedom now to go and do things with my family. Just say something that includes kind of your health and the benefits of what you're doing, but without saying what you're doing. So it gets them excited, like, oh, really? What are you doing? Or what'd you do? That way you can kind of lead into some, an invite to a video. Well, we can give you verbiage for that if you need to. When you're talking to people and asking them questions, it's very important to be interested in what they're saying. Don't try to be interesting. So when you respond to them, try not to give them too many details or too much, boasting or bragging about, this amazing, life that you live. but be more interested in what they're up to and what they're doing. When you're talking with them, look for wants and needs that they have. And then when you find those wants or those needs, how can you fix that? How can you feel that? Can you feel that with praying for them, just being a friend, just listening? Or do you have an amazing nutritional product that they might be interested in? Or do they need more financial income? We can teach them a little bit about what we do. Let's see. How's that so far, Leanna? I'm going to go on to the next.
It's awesome. Do you want me to pop over and show them the scripts then from Team?
Yeah, you can start pulling them up. I'm going to talk about week 3. So week 3 in Team Z, I wanted to bring this one up too because it kind of goes hand in hand with week 2 of Team Z boot camp. And week 3 is they teach you about how to increase your conversation without being annoying, right? Because we all want to do that, but sometimes we don't know how to do that just right. It says 80% of sales happen between the 7th and 10th follow-up. So you want to keep following up without being annoying. And the key to that is never ask someone to do something when you follow up with them. Just follow up. Act like you care. Acts of love. Follow up with them as many times as you need to. Hi, how are you? Just thinking about you today. Get them to trust you. Make sure that when you do follow up, your follow-ups are short and sweet. Yes, you may. They're short and sweet so that it's just a, one little liner, nothing long, nothing drawn out, nothing, that they're going to have to read like a whole story about, because that kind of is annoying to some people. Love people through the process. Don't give up on them. Keep following up. It's a simple system. It's a wash, rinse, repeat. You just keep doing it over and over again. And don't burn bridges. Build the bridges. Don't be passive. Don't wait for something to happen. Your warm market or your green lights, if you lead those conversations with love, your warm market will just get warmer. So always remember to lead with your heart. Look for a need, find a need, and try to fill it. Try to help them. Okay, so we've got Team Z up here. I'm just going to switch back here to something. Okay, so Team Z, if you're using Team Z, they have scripts for you that you can just copy and paste to send to people. And this is one of my favorite ones that Leanna has right here. It says, "Hi, Jane. Just stopping by to say hello. How are you? I hope your day is awesome." I will copy this script.
Okay, so yeah, could you rewind a bit and just tell them, that's okay. I love what you've been doing so far, but I want them to just explain a little bit about relationship marketing and
okay.
How if you're just stopping by and that whole power hour thing. Can you just rewind and tell them just a little bit about that?
Yeah. Okay. So the relationship market is you're building trust. You're creating a relationship with them. We're not here just to sell you a product, and we want to build that trust with them. If you're having conversations with people, and creating, especially with Facebook, if you're on Messenger back and forth creating that conversation, it does so many things. One, it keeps them in your Facebook loop so that they're seeing your posts, but it also, builds that trust with them so that they start looking at what you're doing and they start trusting you and they start talking to you more. Does that make sense? I'm trying to think of what else.
And so what you do in your power hour, Jen, is they give you, say, for instance, you have your goal set at you want to connect with 10 prospects that day. So they give you a list of 10 people from your prospect list, and then you just pop in here and you choose one of these scripts, right? Can you go on from there?
Yes. Okay. So what I'll do, depending on who pops up, I'll look at the name. I will go to their Facebook profile and I will look at the messages. Have I had any conversations with them in the past? Have I already sent them this message? Because I don't want to be annoying and send the same message. Hey, how are you? Just stopping by to say hi like 10 times. So there's a couple of different ones you can choose from. Like this one right here, Leanna, connect number 3. I'll be like, "Hi, Leanna. I saw you cross my Facebook and thought I'd say hi, say hello. If they didn't really cross my Facebook profile, then I will go to their Facebook profile and I will do a little bit of a LLC on there. And what that is a like, love, and comment on their page. So I'll go to their page and I'll scroll through their profile and I'll like, love, and comment on something. And then I'll go back and I'll send this. I'll copy it, I'll paste it right in their messenger, and I'll send it to them. All it is just stopping by and saying hi. And then they'll see that I liked and loved and commented on their stuff. If I truly like, I'm not going to love something that I don't love. I'm not going to comment on something that I don't want to comment on. But truly, like, you know how that goes. If you care about them, you care about what they're doing, like it. So copy that and paste that. And sometimes they respond right away. Sometimes they respond in a day or two. Sometimes they never respond, but that's okay, because you still reached out to them. You were still kind. You still treated them like you're thinking about them. You care about them. Hi, Jade, just staying in touch so I can help you achieve your goals. And this one is great for, if you have a customer that you have been working with and you haven't checked on them in a while. Simple. You can always tweak the verbiage just a tad bit if you want to. This is a favorite one of mine too. Hi, Carrie, just stopping by to wish you a fantastic day. I will just copy this and I will send it to 10 different people. And I will send this to like my Reds, people from high school that I haven't talked to in like 20 years. And it's amazing. Sometimes I get conversations back and we go on and on back and forth for a while in conversations. Like, it's just crazy. And the conversation may never lead to an invite to something, but guess what it did? It just built a relationship. So that person's going to start watching my Facebook posts. And when they start watching my Facebook posts and they see what I'm up to, then they might come back and say, hey, what is this? Or they might start liking and loving and commenting on my posts. So it's just all about building that relationship and just keep building, because down the road, it will start to rain and pour for you. You may not see anything in the first couple weeks, first couple months, but building relationships is so important in this business. Do you want me to go on how to meet new people and add them to your list, Leanna?
Probably not this time.
Okay.
We're already at 25 after. We got a couple more topics. So
Okay.
Let's save that for next time because I love that one as well.
Perfect.
I'm gonna stop sharing here. One of the other, so you guys, do you see how you can start filling that funnel? And if you have a goal of doing 10 prospects a day, 5 or 6 days a week, all of a sudden you are just, you're having conversations all over the place. Like Jim said, maybe they don't lead to Juice Plus there, but you can darn straight now bet that they're following you on your Facebook profile. So that's what's really cool.
And I love that it only takes me like maybe 15, 20 minutes to copy and paste, that script into, 10, 20 different messengers to people and just send it. And then the conversations start. And
the hardest part for me, I have to admit, was I wanted to add on to those scripts. I wanted to customize them and make each one. And Eric tells you don't do it. Just copy and paste it for the most part, just the way it is. Keep it short, keep it simple. We're thinking about you. Hope you have a great day. Boom, and move on. So anyway, that's just a glimpse into Teamzy because we're all so excited about it. I wanted to also give you some follow-up verbiage for, how we typically share Juice Plus is we send them a video. We invite them to an event. We send them to a video. We invite them to, copy whatever we do. Anyway, then we follow up, the fortunes in the follow-up. And so here are some key bullet points for when you're following up with people. So did you get a chance to listen to? So did you get a chance to listen to the video? Did you get a chance to, let's just use a video because that's the easiest example at this point. Did you get a chance to listen to the video? Or I oftentimes says, did you get a chance to listen to the information? That's the verbiage that I like to use. What did you think of it? Or if you say, did you get a chance to listen to the video, then I will say, what did you think of the information? Now, what if they say no? Well, then that's a different conversation. You go a sidebar conversation. It goes something like, gosh, no worries. I know life gets busy. Is it okay if I check back in with you You might say, I'm going to be in my office tomorrow afternoon. Would it be okay if I check back in with you then or something? You can actually try to set up an appointment to give it some urgency, whatever you want to do there. Okay, so did you get a chance to listen to what you think of the information? What'd you like best? Or how did you feel about what you heard? Those are two of the favorite things I like to say. What did you like best, or how did you feel about what you heard? And this might be 2 or 3 conversations back and forth on texting. This is not all one conversation, perhaps, because not everybody's at their phone, right, when you're Facebook messaging or texting them. And up to this point, what have we not talked about? What word have we not said? Juice Plus, right? We have not said Juice Plus up to this point. At this point, I will say, does Juice Plus make sense to you? Or does or I might even say, is what we're doing, does that make sense for you and your family? If you want to continue to not say Juice Plus. Does what we're doing make sense for you and your family? And then I'll say, are you open to giving it a try? You can always follow up with, it's 100% money back guarantee, or, you get to pay, it's a 4-month supply, you get to pay by the month, so it's just 1-month commitment. If for whatever reason you don't like it, you can send it back, 100% money back guarantee, no questions asked, I'll take care of you. But basically, are you open to giving it a try? And then you can decide what else you want to say. So again, did you have a chance to listen to the information? What did you think of it? What did you like best? Or how did you feel about what you heard? Does Juice Plus make sense to you? Are you open to giving it a try? And I like to use that word, are you open? Because are you closed? Is someone's going to really say, no, I'm closed to that idea? And then they might have objections, and we're going to talk to you a little bit down the road about objections. So then you should be ready to either connect with the person that invited you to this call, to your upline, to say, okay, and what do I say now? She said this or he said that, so now what do I say? So now you're going to be ready to connect with them about objections. So in a nutshell, and I kept that on a 3x5 card. In my daytime planner, I taped it up on my wall. I had it wherever I went. So I would just repeat that to myself. I would practice that verbiage all the time. What did you think of the information? Does it make sense to you? Would you like best? Are you ready to get started? I would just kind of go through that. I don't know why I'm so rusty at it now, because I usually can just pop that right off. But anyway, I guess I'm training, that's why. Okay, so I wanted to make sure you guys had that. And then the last point I wanted to go over is connection calls. Before I do that, Jen, I wanted to give you a chance to pop in here and see if there's anything else you wanted to share.
No, sometimes I'll say, does this feel like a fit for you and your family? Are you ready to get started? Stuff like that. So just same verbiage kind of thing.
One of the things that Deanne Rose in the next part of her training uses is she always uses the word great. So they say something like, did you have a chance to listen to the video? Great. What'd you think of it? Gosh, I'm just really busy. Well, great. I realize life gets busy. She just always used the word great. I'm trying to think of the other. Do you remember that training, Jen?
Oh, yes. Yeah, they use that in Teamsy. Some of the scripts in Teamsy have that as well.
Yeah, so everything you respond by great. Well, I have a question for you. Great. Or, everything is great. So that is one of the responses that they use as well. And feel felt found. I guess we're not going to talk about objections this time, but using I know how you feel, I felt the same way, and here's what I found to be true kind of thing. You don't have to use those words, but in essence, that's what you're going to do is feel felt found. It's just a way to respond to objections. Okay, we're running out of time. I just want to take the next 3 minutes. If you guys would give us 3 more minutes and talk about connections, 3-way connection calls. I gave you guys the documents. They're on our Voxer chat. And you guys, 3-way connection calls can move prospects to customers, customers to distributors, and distributors to distributors with goals, among other things. Really awesome tool to use as a brand new rep to get customers. And I really want to have Jen share how she used three-way connection calls when she was going to, I guess it was when you were fast tracking to your 2,000 plus, and she was kind of in a lull here. It was like she was having trouble getting customers for a little bit. Now I can hardly believe that because she gets them all day long every day. But at that time, she didn't have the verbiage polish. She didn't really know what to say, and you know, she was struggling a little bit. And so we would use these three-way connection calls. And first of all, I want her to talk about what she said to invite people to the call, and then how it worked for her. Go ahead, Jen.
All right, so three-way connection call is important because of that third-party validation. Your friend, they hear what you're saying, but it doesn't resonate in their brain until they hear it from a complete stranger. So the three-way connection calls worked for me by what I said was, hey, I would love for you to meet my friend Leanna. She has an amazing story about blah, 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 whatever her story is. She's got several of them. So it just depends on which story is most relatable for the customer or the prospect that I'm talking to at the time. Hey, I would love for you to hear my friends. I would love for you to meet my friend Leanna and hear her story. It's pretty amazing. Would you be open to chatting with her on the phone? And I just always say, would you be open to chatting? Would you be open to having a conversation over the phone? And I just wait for them to respond. And then I just coordinate something with Leanna and just try to find a time. And then what I do is I let her know before the call who we're going to talk to, what we're going to talk about. And then I call Leanna first, get her on the phone, and then just kind of brief her on who this is and, you know, what she's, you know, what her concerns are, what her issues are, not issues, but like health concerns. And then I call her up and transfer them onto the phone and introduce the two, and Leanna does the talking. And when we do these three-way calls, I take notes. So I have a piece of paper and I write stuff down because I learn things about that person that I never knew. They never told me that, but they open up to the stranger on the phone and tell them things that I never knew about. Like, oh my goodness, I didn't know that. And I'm writing down all these notes and taking notes and listening to the verbiage that she says. I'll take notes on the verbiage she says, but every time I do this, I learn better verbiage, better ways to talk to people and ask them questions. And she's just good at pulling things out of people and helping them to make sense of what this is and why this is going to help them.
And now Jen is amazing at it too. So what happens is, again, that third-party validation by a stranger. Why does that work? I have no idea, but it works all day long, every day. A stranger gets on the phone, they start opening up and say all kinds of things. You go, where'd that come from? It shocks me all day long, every day. And preferably what works best is to send a Voxer to the person that's doing the three-way with you and just share a little bit about how you met that person. Like Jen said, what are your concerns? So give them a little heads up so it gives you time to kind of think about what you want to say. And then I share my story, and so I'll share my story different ways depending on, you know, maybe it's somebody with little kids, and I might share Chastity's story about when she had the triplets and using you know, the trio blend for her prenatals or you know, whatever. So we make it we want to focus that call and make it all about that person. But the one thing I want you to never do, never call it a three-way call. Never just say, I want you to meet my friend Jennifer. You know, she's got a son that had cancer when he was 15 months old, and he had ADHD too because of his chemo brain. I can't wait for you guys to share her story. You know, I want to connect with them on some level. And then say, you know, would you be open to having a conversation with them? Okay. So there is a document out on Voxer that kind of tells you a little bit about how these should all go down. Go ahead and read that. There's also a potential team member if you want to do a call with somebody that you want to get bring on our team if they're interested in joining our mission. So that helps you fill that out a little bit and be able to talk to that with your sponsor. And having said that, we're going to unmute and let everybody say goodbye, or you can unmute yourselves, and I'll go ahead and stop the recording.